everybody, I'm Vasel. Welcome to a series of my favorite games from my favorite designers. And it's just a series where I talk about various designers and my favorite games from them. Today we're talking about a designer who I also consider to be a friend, and that is Emerson Matsuuchi. Now, today I'm talking about my favorite 7 games that he has designed. Now, he's designed technically more than 7, but I've combined a few on this list you'll see when we get there. Emerson is one of the smartest people I know who can take complex ideas and simplify them for the masses. And when you play his games, they're almost always, here are a few choices you can make, but the way you implement those choices is very cleverly done. I love it. Emerson's also very humble. If he saw this video, he would say, I'm not a good designer at all, which is patently false. He's fantastic, and here are my 7 favorite games to show you. Number 7 is the first game I played from him, called Tricks and Treats. Very simple little card game where you're adding candy to different Halloween buckets, the little pumpkin buckets that you have, and it's in card form, and each person has one of those buckets, and you're trying to figure out who has what bucket because you would like to call them out and say that's your bucket, but you're not quite sure. They just put a piece of bad candy in that bucket. Is that them? Simple little card game, but I like it. Number 6 is the second game I played from Emerson. In fact, as I'm going through these, I realize I'm going to stop saying that because every game here that I've played in the order that I've done on this list. Interesting. But this is Volt, Robot Battle Arena. Volt is a programming game, but it's more of a free-form robot programming game, and it's about robots fighting each other. You know, Robo Rally, you're just moving around in a race. Here you're trying to hit each other, but you have these dice, and you program the robots and then reveal at the same time and decide which direction the robot's going to move, which direction the robot's going to shoot in. And it's a nice little fast programming style robot game. Number 5 is Spectre Ops. Spectre Ops is Emerson's version, or at least until his newer game comes out next year, but his version of kind of like a Scotland Yard style game. One person is going onto a base trying to accomplish a mission, whether it's sabotage or get information, doesn't matter. Everyone else are playing agents trying to catch this person. It's really well done. It's a big board. They're kind of sneaking into base. Everybody has special abilities that you're trying to use. The agents have a vehicle they're driving around, but they also might want to jump out of the vehicle because they're trying to go in there and get that person. I really like this game. There are 2 different versions of Spectre Ops. They're compatible, and they play pretty much the same way. Number 4 is Crossfire. Crossfire is a social deduction style game. In fact, there's several in there. Now, this is not the game from many people's youth that I had where you shot marbles at each other out of a little, No, this is a game in which you are trying to figure out who the bad guy is or someone at the table. My favorite version of Crossfire is a sniper game where one person's a sniper, another person's a leader. Someone's trying to assassinate the leader, and the sniper's trying to figure out who is doing that. Everyone passes, you have some cards, you know some information about the people who are sitting next to you, and you got to convince the sniper to shoot the right people. Simple, fast, and it's really fun. Number 3 is Reef. Reef did not get a lot of buzz. It had the unfortunate timing to come out from the same company as Azul did. And you know, when you first look at Reef, it does look like it's full of a bunch of children's toys. But it's such an excellent game as you build plastic physical Reef pieces and you use a card to play pieces and then to score. Although the scoring never seems to be the way you just put the pieces out, and you're trying to figure out which cards to play in what order and how you're going to score. It's really simple game, but it feels like you have a lot of options when playing it. Really easy to teach. I like it a lot. Reef. Number 2, I put here the Century series. That's because Emerson came up with a game called Century Spice Road, then came out with a sequel to that, Century Eastern Seas, and then Century A New World. And then you could combine the first and second game. You could combine the first and third, the second and third, and the first, second, and third all into a single game. So it's actually 6 games, which still kind of blows my mind. So I'm putting them all here together. And then not only that, they all came out in a different version, a Golem version. I mean, that's the same game, but with much, much better artwork. But I like these a lot. And I have them ranked. I did a video where I ranked the whole series of which ones I like best, but they all belong here. Century Spice Road, which is the most popular one, the most famous of them, just has really quick turns. On your turn, you're drafting something. You're playing a card and doing it, and doing the action on a card, which is changing resources for other resources. It seems like just very quick, simple actions, and you're just going around the table really fast, to the point where I'll play this with max players, which I don't normally do with games. And yet it feels like you made some really fun choices. You're racing the other players. The third one, A New World, has worker placement, but yet still manages to retain the same feel. This is an amazing series and might be known as his best work. But my number one, the newest game from Emerson, which when I first played it was just stuff on a piece of paper, and now it is one of the biggest grandiose games in the market, and that is Foundations of Rome. Foundations of Rome follows the formula of Century, which is quick actions. You know, take an action, but you're building a city out here on the board. And you have a grid. Take some ideas from the old game Acquire, and you have different properties on this grid, and you're combining those properties to put out buildings, and some buildings give you money, and some buildings give you population, and some buildings give you points. And knowing the best ones to put down, oh, it's such a great game, and then it looks phenomenal. Someone made a comment I read a few weeks ago where they said, I now have one of these big, grandiose, giant games that I'll actually get to the table. And I thought, that's true. That actually persuades me. That's a good idea. It's a big, fun game that you get to play often. I love this game. It is fantastic. And it's my favorite game from Emerson. What are your favorite games from Emerson Matsuuchi? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vasel. This has been my series of my favorite games from my favorite designers.